G'day and welcome to Videodrome Cinema. Today we're going to be talking about 10 interesting and fun facts about Cars 3. Okay, so first off, a few interesting things about Pixar. Originally it was part of Lucasfilms, but then in 1986 Steve Jobs bought it. He spent $5 million on it to buy it from George Lucas. And then in 2006, Disney bought Pixar from Steve Jobs for $7.4 billion. The first time Disney and Pixar worked together was in 1991, when they signed a contract for 3 films. And their first collaboration was, of course, Toy Story. They almost ended up pulling production on Toy Story 1 because they found Woody's character to be too sarcastic. To solve these problems, they changed a lot about Woody's character, and they changed a lot in the script. The first Cars ended up being the most profitable film for Pixar Studios, but not in actual movie profits, but in the $10 billion that it generated in merchandising sales alone. So Cars 3 is the 18th film from the Pixar studio. The first 2 films were directed by John Lasseter. In Cars 3, though, he was only the executive producer. Brian Fee took over the directing job for Cars 3. On the previous Cars movies, he was the storyboard artist. The first time we heard that Cars 3 was going to be happening was on August 17th in 2013, when Michael Wallis, who's the voice of Sheriff in the films, told radio listeners in an interview that the story of Cars 3 would take place on Route 66 again. But it was only on March 18th in 2014 that the Disney CEO announced to the stockholders that Pixar had begun pre-production on Cars 3. We got another little crumb of information in October 2014 when John Lasseter revealed at the Tokyo International Film Festival that the film is going to feature a tribute to Hayao Miyazaki. The actual production had started during the summer of 2014. On October 8th in 2015, they officially announced that the release date was going to be June 16th, 2017. We got the first trailer for the film on November 21st in 2016. It was a strange trailer, and it caused a lot of heartache and uproar on the internet, and a lot of parents actually wrote that they might not want to take their kids to see it. They're afraid to, because we can see in this trailer a really bad crash involving Lightning McQueen. But then the extra trailers we got later on, apart from the nostalgic feeling that we got from them, we also got more pictures and more upbeat and fun scenes. In an interview, John Lasseter said that the story of Cars 3 was gonna be very emotional. It's gonna be a lot like the first part in tone, and a little less like the second part. The producer also said that the film's going to be a lot more emotional, and tone-wise it's going to be a lot more like Cars 1. The film's going to focus on McQueen's relationship and his memories of Doc Hudson. The trailer suggests that the film is going to be a much darker tone than its predecessors. Also, it's a role reversal, as it's not McQueen being the rookie this time, he's the old veteran, and the rookie is Jackson Storm. And maybe we're gonna see Lightning McQueen become a retired, older car. We also find ourselves back at Radiator Springs and seeing a lot of known characters like Tow Truck Matter, Sally Carrera, and Ramon. Director Brian Fee has mentioned that the film is a love letter to auto racing and the American dirt tracks that you see all over the South. This is interesting because it made for a hardship when they were drawing Cars 3. They found out that drawing mud and mud splatter was extremely difficult. They really had to figure out different techniques and methods of how they were going to draw mud splattering or mud sticking to the car, half dry mud, wet mud, all these different types. One way they promoted the film was to take a life-sized Lightning McQueen that Pixar had built to scale to the Detroit Auto Show. Everyone likes Matter's character, and so did the creators of Cars. This meant that for the second part, he got a bigger role and he was an integral part of the story. The director did say that we can relax, he's coming back for this one too, but his role will be a little less this time and Lightning McQueen will be the star of the show. We've also been told by the creators that Lightning McQueen will have 5 different coats of paint in the film, but his main design is going to be a kind of mixture of Cars 1 and Cars 2, what we saw designed for Lightning McQueen. They made a total of 8 different tracks for the film. We're going to see all of these different tracks in different parts of the film. For the entire Cars 3, they drew 80,000 storyboards during the production of the movie, and just for the final sequences of the film, they used 10,102 storyboards. Okay, and for the last interesting part, let's talk a little bit about Pixar theory. So, we don't see any humans in the Cars movies. If any of the cars are cabrio, they're never opened. And we never see any doors opening either. And we can also never see through any of the windows. So it's safe to assume that there is no passenger in any of these cars. In one of the interviews, John Lasseter said about Cars 1 and 2 that he directed that in place of the seats would be the car's brain. Of course, then there's always the question of why do you need rear view mirrors and why do you need door handles at all? So this is where the Pixar theory comes in, that there used to be humans, but they're not here anymore. Or another theory that the humans have kind of come the cars, but they're only like halfway through. So there's that big theory that the Pixar films all are interconnected. In that theory and in a lot of other theories, there's the idea that humans used to exist and they left. And they left the cars here, and like in Toy Story, how inanimate objects are actually alive, the cars were alive too, or became alive since then. Of course, there are many theories amongst the fans about Cars and about the Pixar universe in total. And there's many a website directed to all of these. So these are the interesting and fun facts that I found about Cars 3. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give us a like. Come back and visit us soon and subscribe to our channel so you can hear about our latest content. Thanks. Bye.